But you had talked about you had touched on economics a little bit, and one of the things that you brought, obviously, economics is a major issue. If you want to do a check of the vitality of any group, that's one of the indicators that you're going to look at is what the economics look like in that community. And obviously, the African American community historically, and even present day, we've been subjected to just disparate outcomes as far as economics in the United States and really around the world. When you look at Black communities in just about any country around the world, our outcomes are always at the bottom. So leading into the primary, at least on the Democratic side, and now leading into November, and you touched on this a little earlier, reparations have been a big topic. How do you feel about reparations for descendants of slaves here in the U.S.? Well, let me before you answer, let me just say this. So there are like 30 million African Americans in the country.
Yep, approximately.
So I did a little quick math in my head, and if you gave every descendant of a slave, of those 30 million people, if you gave every one of them $100,000, you're looking at about $3 trillion that the U.S. would have to spend in order to provide reparations. And it's not like this hasn't happened before. We've given the Japanese reparations for the internment during World War II, and we've given Germany gave the Jews reparations for the Holocaust. As a country, we've given Native Americans reparations, and so it has been done before. I think it's the problem from a political standpoint is the idea of giving it to Black people in this country. It's not that they don't have the money. We see that with the stimulus that they just gave, that they have the money, and the amount of money that we waste on the military and stuff like that. The money's there. I think it's just a problem of giving a check to African Americans. What are your thoughts on that?
I think there's a quote by James Baldwin that says to be a Negro in a conscious state of mind is to be in a state of rage consistently, and you hit on it because the big problem is giving it to Black men and women. Right. You look no further than Black Wall Street that happened 99 years ago. 99 years ago this month in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Here were some Black people who set up their own for us, by us society. They were thriving and doing well. Instead of letting them be, they get it taken down and burned. Mm-hmm. Anytime, it looks like brothers and sisters are busting through and making good progress, somehow systematically it gets taken down. It's taken down throughout history, and it's a sad thing that people can't just own up and say, we did them wrong. See, when slavery ended, people didn't get 40 acres and a mule. Who got reparations for slavery were slave owners got reparations. Mm-hmm. They got reparations for their property, the Negroes that they lost. They got reparations. Now, Blacks still matriculated to different cities and states. That's why you had booming Black businesses in places like St. Louis and Tulsa. But yeah, it got to be, people just can't accept when the brothers and sisters start doing well, even in the workplace. It's like I work in the corporate world, and to be quite honest, when I was doing all right in the corporate world was when I didn't get the highest ratings. When I found myself getting the highest ratings in the workplace, that's when all the unique issues started. Yeah, we think we should move him. I don't know if this is the best fit for him. It was all good when I was at mediocre ratings, but when I raised higher, it was like, oh no, we can't have that.
Right.
You look no further than when we get the first Black president, Barack Obama. And, he gets there, he's met every qualification. He's checked every box. He has no scandals. He has no sexual harassment, anything swirling around about him. People can't handle it. They can't handle seeing a black man or black woman at the top. The same thing with reparations. Like you said, for the Holocaust, there were reparations issued out. We still send billions of dollars every year to Israel. It does not take much to give reparations to the descendants of slaves in the United States. If anything, that would help the economy. But just the thought of handing it to black men and women, no, it's not going to happen. Mind you, we live in a nation where for 155 years, over 155 years to be honest, let me see. No, yeah, about 155 years, the Ku Klux Klan has been allowed to be on American soil, a real live terrorist organization, and nobody's done anything to shut it down. The 44th President, Barack Obama, was trying to get a public listing at least put out of it, because there's no public listing of it. You can get a public listing of every other group, but you can't get a public listing of that. And I get it. That means that some of our people that may be in government right now who have been members over the years, and they don't want to get exposed. But it's like, okay, you don't want to get exposed to that for hating black people at some point in your life, but at least have some decency to say, we owe those people. We owe them. You can't tell people to come up, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, or get over it when you consistently pounding down brothers and sisters, whether it's in the criminal justice system, whether it's in the educational system, whether it's economical in the workplace. It's like we're pounding down brothers and sisters. You know, it's like that. All that stuff's over. You know, it's like I have a hashtag right now that says silent no more. It's like we can't be silent about it. And if somebody's really an advocate, they can't be silent about it either. They got to call it out. And we got to push forward through it. You know, it's like, yes, we're old. Absolutely, we're old. You know, we're old. You know, and we, you said what? Keep going.
I was going to say, even if there's a problem with issuing a check, because I can see how that might be an issue for, you know, just saying, hey, I'm going to cut you a check. But there are other things you can do to try to make up for the injustice that was done to black people and the work, the free labor that black people supplied that helped to build the United States into the you know, the superpower that it is right now. Even something like, hey, you know what? Descendants of slaves, we're going to give you free health care. Well, while I'm waiting for Russ to rejoin, what I was going to say is that just even providing descendants of slaves with free health care or free access to higher education would be a step in the right direction as far as trying to compensate the descendants of slaves in the United States for the free labor that was provided and the work that was done to help build the country into what it is today. But as Russ was saying, and I concur, I think it's an issue of just not wanting to cut a check, but not just wanting to not cut a check, but not wanting to cut a check to African Americans in particular.